walked inside. There's nobody. There's a car here. There's another car out front. But it is very suspicious why there's nobody here.
Okay, so did you yell or anything, or?
Yeah, I hollered, hey, walked around the building. It just, I don't know.
On the night of April 25th, 2013, the peaceful community of Norton Shores, Michigan, was shocked awake by the sudden abduction of 25-year-old Jessica Lynn Hiringa. What followed was a baffling mystery that would hold the nation's attention for years. Following her disappearance, law enforcement authorities discovered a shocking scene: untouched cash, firearm parts, and a sinister pool of blood, all pointing to an unexplained nightmare. As detectives hurried to reconstruct the events of that tragic evening, a disturbing conviction dawned on them. Something evil that way came, and it was still very much on the loose. However, questions remained in the midst of the uncertainty. Was Jessica really the unwitting victim of a sinister force? Or was her abduction only the beginning of a darker story? One that would cast a shadow over Norton Shores' tranquil streets for years to come? The truth will leave you in fear. Jessica Lynn Hiringa was born in 1987 in Norton Shores, Michigan, where she lived with her boyfriend, Dakota Quayle Dyer, and their 3-year-old kid. Working at an Exxon fueling station, Jessica vanished without a trace on the evening of April 26, 2013. Her disappearance engulfed the entire town and would last 3 years, requiring a 75-member task force with 14 specialized divisions from 15 local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, including aviation, behavioral sciences, technical services, and intelligence analysis. The search for her would take 12,000 man-hours in a massive investigation that involved over 1,400 tips, 33 search warrants executed, 20 house searches by consent, 12 ground searches, and 2 underwater searches. She was never found.
There was that two-part goal for me was, one, bring home Jessica. That was a goal. And then bring the people or persons to justice. Mm-hmm. Well, we did that, but we still have not found Jessica. And so that's a void, and that's a never-ending void for me.
To fully understand the story, we would need to rewind to the day before the disappearance on April 25th, 2013. On the evening of April 25th, 2013, Jessica was nearing the end of her late shift at the gas station when a random female customer informed her about the risks of working alone at night. The woman was concerned about the dimly lit corridors and the lack of cameras. But strangely, when the woman expressed her concern and requested that she contact her boyfriend, a weird customer yelled from the back, "She's got customers looking out for her too." Unsurprisingly, Jessica was startled by the comment, and she appeared to shudder before walking away. Jessica's reaction, however, perplexed the woman as she left, her thoughts lingering on the strange experience. Alone in her car outside the station, she felt uneasy as she chose to watch over the station till Jessica left. Fortunately, the night went without incident, but the disturbing exchange stayed as a reminder of the impending tragedy. The next day, Jessica's shift at the Exxon store began at 4:35 p.m., and the day proceeded as usual. Her boyfriend and a friend made brief appearances during the day, and all was quite normal. However, things would take a weird turn when the presence of a silver vehicle later that evening piqued the interest of Jessica's friend and another customer in the business. From the inside of the gas station, they saw Jessica having a seemingly innocent conversation with the van's driver. A lighthearted conversation that raised no red flags before the van vanished into the night.
I think the general banter was like, "Hey, I thought you're supposed to be inside, not out here," kind of joking almost, like it was a regular kind of guy that would come in there and talk to her or whatever.
He says they acted as if they knew each other.
However, what did make the silver van creepy was what happened after it sped off. See, later that evening, while riding her motorcycle, the manager observed the same silver van suspiciously parked behind the gas station. Concerned, she approached the back with caution, concerned that Jessica was probably stealing from her. Peering closer, she noticed a figure in the back of the van, frantically adjusting something before driving away. Weirded out, she took a good look at the driver before going her own separate way. Despite the lack of obvious indicators of concern, the manager's meeting with the van's driver, who she claimed wore a striking red or orange hoodie and had unkempt hair, left an unpleasant sense in the night air. But things really got bad when moments later a customer arrived at the business only to see it abandoned, dark, and lifeless. As the police rushed to the scene at the Exxon station, it was like something out of a movie, but this was real life, and Jessica was really gone. At the scene, they found her stuff still there. Her bag was still at the station, and even weirder, money was still on the counter. But when they checked the back, things took a dark turn as bloodstains and a battery cover from a gun sight hinted at something truly sinister. The manager's report about a silver van lurking at the back now seemed like a major clue. But despite the cops' best efforts, they couldn't find Jessica. It was like she vanished into thin air. No money was missing. There were no signs of a robbery. It seemed like someone had tricked her or caught her off guard, maybe pretending to need help or catching her while she was smoking outside. The community was in shock, and everyone was on edge, knowing a predator could be among them. With each passing moment, the urgency to find Jessica grew. It was a race against time to bring her home safely and catch whomever was behind this terrifying ordeal. Although the station had no cameras, other shops managed to catch the van as it drove through the night.
CCTV footage from around the Norton Shores area saw the van driving away from the gas station. A few cameras picked it up, but who was behind the wheel and where it eventually went was unknown.
As the authorities scoured through the footage captured by the cameras, the identity of the driver behind the mysterious silver Chrysler van remained a vexing puzzle, and despite having a sketch of the suspect drawn from the manager's description, it felt like the officers were grasping at straws, especially because the model of the van, a silver Chrysler Town & Country, was a common sight on Michigan roads, with thousands of them blending into the sea of vehicles. Despite the exhaustive efforts of the police, including aerial searches and canine units, the trail seemed to vanish into thin air. The hope of finding Jessica alive dwindled with each passing day, leaving the community haunted by the specter of her disappearance.
911, where is your emergency?
We come up to this lady. She's laying in the road. I think she was hit by a car.
Okay.
Over a year later, tragedy struck once again, this time in a neighboring town. The 911 call reporting the discovery of 36-year-old Rebecca Block lying wounded in the road sent shockwaves through the community. Initially thought to be the victim of a hit and run, the grim truth emerged when investigators determined she had been shot while jogging. Shocked by this reality, the similarities to Jessica's case sent a shiver down the spines of everyone involved. Rebecca's brutal murder, marked by 3 .22 caliber gunshot wounds to the back of her head, cast a dark shadow over the region. Despite the bruises found on her body, the motive behind her killing remained a baffling mystery. As the years passed, the investigations into both cases grew cold, leaving behind unanswered questions and shattered lives. But luckily, an event blew the case wide open. See, in April 2016, a chilling incident unfolded, echoing the horrors of the past. A 16-year-old girl, walking home from a party, found herself in a nightmare when a man in a silver van offered her a ride. Refusing, she asked to use his phone, only to be thrust into a terrifying ordeal as he locked her in his car and sped away, all while brandishing a gun. Struck by fear, the young lady jumped out of the moving car and miraculously escaped. After this, she sought refuge in a nearby house, triggering a swift police response. Surveillance footage would then reveal the identity of the would-be abductor to be a man named Jeffrey Willis. The crazy part, however, was that he drove the same Chrysler van,
didn't recognize me as the driver of the van, and she testified she remembers every face that comes into the store. Both her and her ex-husband, Eric Barber, agreed that the light in the back of the store was off when the van left, but both Craig Harpster, the first citizen on the scene,
spotted at the scene of Jessica Herringa's disappearance. Seeing this, investigators delved deeper, only to unearth a trove of horrors hidden within Willis's van and home. Among the grim discoveries were syringes of liquid, restraints, and a .22 caliber handgun matching the weapon used to kill Rebecca Block. The missing battery cover from the gun's laser sight was found too, hinting at a sinister connection to past crimes. Inside his home computer, a disturbing collection of images and videos painted a chilling portrait of his depravity. Folders labeled with the initials of his victims, including Jessica Herringa and Rebecca Block, revealed a macabre obsession. There was even a password to a website bearing Jessica's initials and the date of her disappearance. To top this off, his phone records put him just 7 minutes away from the gas station on the night of Jessica's abduction. As search warrants were issued and investigations intensified, the full extent of Willis's depravity came to light and shocked the nation. Before the abduction, Jeffrey Willis had a regular job as a janitor at a local elementary school, but things took a dark turn when his bosses noticed something off about his behavior. It seems he was spending way too much time in the computer lab, which raised some eyebrows. When they checked the computer he'd been using, they found something alarming in his internet history. A website link that was seriously sketchy. This discovery led to him getting fired from his job. This wasn't just a simple case of goofing off online. What he was looking at was seriously disturbing, as there were sites for child pornography and such. At the time of the abduction and arrest, Jeffrey was now a factory worker, and according to his co-workers, he was absent on the day of Jessica's disappearance. With a mountain of evidence against him, in September 2016, Jeffrey Willis was charged with Jessica's kidnapping and murder. On June 21st, 2016, Jeffrey Willis's cousin, Kevin Laverne Bloom, got into serious legal trouble. See, Bloom, who used to work as a prison guard, was charged with lying to the police during investigations into the two violent crimes. He initially gave the police some information about Jessica Herringa's disappearance and another case, but later admitted he made it up. In the end, he pleaded guilty to these charges in August 2016 and was sentenced shortly after. But the interesting part was, Bloom also confessed to helping Willis after Jessica's disappearance. See, he claimed that Willis called him the day after Jessica went missing and said he had a woman at a party. Bloom said he saw Jessica's body with a head wound, tied up and naked. He admitted to helping Willis bury her after she was sexually assaulted. Bloom was suspended from his job as a prison sergeant and later pleaded no contest to being an accessory after the fact. He got a sentence of time served, plus probation, and had to wear a GPS tether for a year. The trial for the case of the murder of Jessica Herringa was quite a roller coaster, as Jeffrey and his defense pledged not guilty and stated that the eyewitness testimony was flawed. Why? Well, because the manager said the lights at the back of the station were off, while officers claimed they were on when they got there. They argued that whomever turned on the light was the culprit and not Jeffrey.
the evidence showed that the eyewitness, Susan Follett, when asked, didn't recognize me as the driver of the van, and she testified she remembers every face that comes into the store. Both her and her ex-husband, Eric Barber, agreed that the light in the back of the store was off when the van left, but both Craig Harpster, the first citizen on the scene, and Corporal Hoeksema, the first officer to arrive, both testified that this light that can only be turned on from inside the Exxon station was on when they arrived. In that few minutes of time between the van leaving and Harpster's arrival, someone else had to have turned this light back on.
In the end, after an hour of deliberation, the jury found Jeffrey guilty of Herringa's kidnapping and murder on May 16, 2018. He received a life sentence without parole a month later. However, Jeffrey never agreed to being the culprit. Perhaps the scariest part of this case is that on April 25th, the customer who shouted, "She's got customers looking out for her too," was none other than Jeffrey, and he had visited the gas station 15 times in the week prior to the attack.
You walked into the gas station that night. Was Jessica alone?
No.
Who else was there?
But what do you think? Was Jeffrey innocent? Or was he more evil than he let on? Let us know in the comments section below, and while you're at it, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest true crime stories. Until next time, stay vigilant.